Hey, welcome this evening to Tuesday Tea Time with Dorarena.
Kristin.
And Torisa.
Yay! You are viewing the Wow Team.
Yes.
And we are so excited. We are presented from Women of Wisdom. We are a nonprofit organization here to bridge the generational gap between the younger and the older ladies to pass on vital knowledge. We are here to empower with practical wisdom and confidence. So, guess what? We are here for you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And so, I always like to share my tea that I'm doing. And so, we all have our own tea. I'm doing peach honey tonight.
I'm doing peach orange.
And I'm doing ginger honey.
Yay. And so, we all have our cups. Let me turn mine around so you can see my decorations. A little bit. Yay. Okay, so I hope that you have your cup with you, whatever you decide to drink, and that you fill your cup up with lots of wisdom tonight.
Right.
All right?
That's right.
All right, tea time.
Tea time.
And don't forget your honey.
Oh,
yes.
Yes. Yes.
Must
my
have.
goodness. Yes. So tonight, see my little bear? Yay. All about bees. And I don't want to forget my son, which is Blacksmith Honey Farm. Yeah. So you can find him on Facebook. All right. So our topic tonight is
appreciating all parts of ourselves.
Oh my goodness. We got a topic here for you. And these are the questions that we are asking. Kristin, what are they?
Do you appreciate all parts of yourself? Are you only accepting of the parts of yourself that others like or see?
Now you think about that. That's something. Now that's something to ponder on and really consider. And if you do, tonight you could be free from some things. Yep. And it just takes really facing reality for what it really is and just going forward.
Absolutely.
So do you appreciate all parts of yourself? Now I would have to say for me I do appreciate all parts of myself.
That's right. That's right.
Haven't always been that way, but I have grown into it because I don't really want to have to depend on other people to appreciate me in order for me to appreciate myself.
That's right. Yes.
Yes.
So
I can say that there are some parts of myself that I am learning to appreciate.
Awesome.
I still have some I'm trying to embrace.
Okay.
I would say I think this question is twofold because you're using two words. Accepting and appreciating are two different things.
Good point there.
Okay.
And so I would have to say that I have accepted all parts of myself, but I do not appreciate them all. Because you can accept it and say, okay, it is what it is. But that doesn't mean that I explicitly accept it as a good thing.
Okay.
So I would say I have accepted myself for all that I am, but I have not appreciated every part, but I am learning in that. And I think part of that too is that some things I've accepted that there are negative things there. And I'm like, okay, I accept that is a negative trait that I have.
Yes.
Now I want the road to appreciation is also a road to change.
That's true.
I think. So that's my answer there.
Okay, and that's a good answer.
Yes, it is.
And so let's see, are you only accepting of the parts of yourself that others like or see? So as far as accepting, parts of myself that others like or see, I'm sorry, I don't I don't fall in that category. I have to be honest with you, because I've come to a place in life where my life is not about others.
Right.
It's not about how others see me. Now, I used to have a problem in that area. And I used to allow how others saw me affect me. But, I had to realize that really what the real deal was is that it was how I was seeing myself.
Oh, yeah.
What was the
And
biggest
that's
thing you had to overcome?
The biggest thing that I had to overcome, I would have to say, is my self-esteem. Because when you've been through a lot of trauma in life, through those traumas, that's how you see yourself. And so, your self-worth is so low. That was something that I had to learn to change. And I learned to change that by learning how to build up my confidence.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would have to say, for one of the biggest things that I've had to kind of get over and not hear from other people was about my personality. Because I can be pretty forward, pretty out there, pretty loud, and people have opinions about it. Either people love it or people don't like it, or people always have something to say about things like that.
Right.
And so I had to, even with the positive comments, I'm like, I can't take that and let that inform me, but it took a long time to realize, okay, I am who I am, and I accept and appreciate my personality. I absolutely do. And that has nothing to do with the praise or the criticism of people around me.
Ooh,
but that
good.
took quite the time. But my faith in the Lord has also helped with that. So that has helped.
Okay. What about you?
I would say the hardest part for me has been accepting that I'm not the mistakes that I've made.
Oh,
that's good.
That's really good.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's authentic right there.
Yes.
Because they all make whoppers here or there,
Right.
And I've made my
Mhm.
share. So accepting that I'm not the mistakes that I've made in my past is still a struggle.
Yeah, that's real good. And I happen to know a little bit about her past.
Just a little.
And there's some similar situations that both of us have had to deal with. And so I definitely can appreciate what you shared. Okay, so let's go to our next slide, Torisa.
All right. Self-appreciation involves being compassionate and loving towards ourselves. Our true self doesn't need anything in the form of attention, appreciation, or validation.
Wow. So what will we say to the people that are watching us that struggle with that?
I think we spend a lot of time being, like the first sentence says, being compassionate and loving towards other people.
Yeah.
When you hear someone else saying that they have low self-esteem or they have confidence issues, you will be so quick. We're so quick, especially as women, to help the other person. Oh, girl, no, this or that. But when it comes to ourselves, we're not willing to give that to ourselves.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I think taking critical note of, especially your self-talk.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Your self-talk, the way that you talk to yourself in your mind, because you talk to yourself all day.
All day.
Watching and being mindful of your self-talk is a first step in walking that road to accepting yourself.
That's good.
I tell the people in my life, the people that I choose to keep in my life, I don't need you here. I want you here.
Yes, I have a friend that tells me that.
Yeah, I want you in my life. That's where the growth and connection comes from, and that's what I want in my days.
Yes, because now you have relationships and not attachments.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
That's a whole.
And if we would learn to validate ourselves
Mhm.
and not always look at the mistakes,
Yes.
but look at the things that we have overcome
Yeah.
Mhm.
and celebrate those things.
Yes.
That would help, eliminate the problems with appreciating. And, the thing with attention, we tend to want attention because we never got attention.
Wow.
And
Mhm.
so, if we start paying more attention, I always like to put it like this. I don't have time to, pay attention to everybody else's life when I got to pay attention to mine. And I mean that in a positive way,
Yeah.
not in a negative way, because I am an observative type of person anyway, and I observe people and everything. But when it comes to, watching this person, watching that person, what they did, I don't have time for that. I'm a big, project for myself.
But even in that place, though, you're able to keep yourself so that you can also be there for others. Because if you're tore up from the floor up, don't come trying to give me wisdom.
Come on,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So when you do have that love and appreciation towards yourself, it really helps you to be outward focused. It's really beneficial for all that you take.
Yes,
right.
It
Exactly. And so those that are struggling in this area, start, I've said this before, but get you some 3x5 cards and start writing down some positive things about yourself and start
a to-do list.
What is it called?
A to-do list.
Oh, a to-do.
Yeah, look at all that I did.
Oh, that's good. And start focusing more on that, and instead of, there's nothing wrong with looking at your mistakes as long as you're gleaning the wisdom out of it.
Yes.
But to continue to put yourself down is to be stuck.
Yes. Oh, that's good.
Well, let's go to our next slide, Kristin.
We shouldn't tie our self-worth to the approval of others, and we shouldn't feel the need to always please people. Hi, I'm Kristin. I'm a recovering people pleaser.
Right. And I think to some degree, we've all been a people pleaser to some degree.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because even when you're a kid and you want to please your parents,
Yes,
and,
I was
and
heavily
that
on
grows, that carries over to our adulthood.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's built into our foundation.
Yes.
Wanting to do the thing and make sure that we have a safe place, or that we're loved. I agree.
Wow.
Yeah. So we shouldn't tie our self-worth to the approval of others. Come on. Yeah. Just like really, Torisa, I think you was the one that said about how, if you tore up
from the floor up,
right. There people can counsel you based off of their own hurts and pains that they have not overcame yet. And with that type of knowledge, you actually come up under the same bondage that they're in.
Yes. And when you're looking at the approval of others, everyone has a different standard.
Yeah.
So you're constantly going back and forth based on who you're listening to and who's saying what in your life. Okay, this is approving to this person, but this is approving to that person. And okay, what do you choose?
Yeah.
Who do you?
You're wavering. It's instability there.
Yeah. You really have to focus on what you feel, where you feel safe and comfortable.
Right.
Does this sit well with me?
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
That's good.
And at that point, you're building your life, your personality, who you are based on all of these people's thoughts and opinions. And you start altering yourself. And then you can't even remember who you were.
Yeah.
Wow.
The real you, because you've just become this.
You get lost.
Yep, that's true. You know what? I did that. I did that. That's why I'm not there anymore.
Yeah.
Because I did that. And I came to realization that, wait a minute, this is not who I am. This is not, I don't conform to somebody else's way of living.
Yeah.
You know, their life or what they like.
Yeah.
But what about what I like?
Mm-hmm.
What about who I am? And learning how to appreciate who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and knowing that true self, you know, there's a place where you just have to, you know, say, okay, nope, we're not doing this anymore. You know, that's one of my favorite
Yes.
lines.
Yes.
I am not
so
doing
many
that
times.
anymore.
Uh-huh.
Yep. So yeah, so we're talking about appreciating all parts of yourself.
Yes.
You know, and growing into that. It's not an instant thing.
No.
It's something that is a process.
Yes.
And our next, we have a quote, because I always like to have a quote, so we gotta have a quote. So it says, accept yourself, love yourself, and keep moving on. If you want to fly, you have to give up what weighs you down.
Wow.
That's Roy T. Benton. That is so good. We were talking about this before we came on air, and just wow.
Yeah.
I mean, loving, accepting yourself takes being honest with yourself and being able to look at the hard things that you don't like about yourself. And if you look at you can't change them unless you look at them.
Yeah.
And so, but if you do all of these things that Roy's talking about, you accept yourself, love yourself, you will keep moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And it just kind of reminds me of a point that was made at the last slide about changing, and you end up becoming this person that you weren't before based on all these other people's opinions. But when you start doing that, I love, you had mentioned before we came online about the butterfly flying.
Yeah. Oh,
but
right.
if you are changing yourself to someone who you really not, you've got wings that don't fit.
Right.
How are you supposed to take air if you're not even fit to fly?
Right.
Well, if we take the opinions of others and we let that shape us, we can do the same thing about our own opinions about ourselves. We can take our own opinions about who we are and what we believe in and our values and let that be how it shapes us. And I think sometimes we're so close to ourselves, we don't feel our own wings sometimes.
Oh,
wow, that's good.
And just what you were saying, what you were saying is it's like the blood that flows through the wings, because it's the blood that flows through the wings that gives the wings life.
Yes.
And so, like you were saying, if you have on somebody else's wings, whose blood is flowing through it?
Yeah.
So you're all the way off.
Well, this quote too also reminds me about what you said, because first you have to.
Hey.
Hey.
Revelation. Not on the.
Have your moment.
Yes.
Do it.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, this quote reminded me of something that you had said, where you have to, it is a process of first accepting these things about yourself. And then after you've accepted it, you can learn to appreciate it.
Yes.
So that is how you learn to love yourself, because when you appreciate something, you in a form of you love it.
Yes, that's true.
That's extremely important to appreciate, all parts of yourself, so that you can love yourself. That's how you get there,
Yes. And I think there's something interesting. A friend of mine, in her marriage, she makes a statement and she's like, well, of course I love you, but she also tells him that I like you. There's a difference between loving somebody and also liking them too, because it's like my siblings. Okay, I love you because you're my blood, but I also really like you. There's something really sweet about liking something too.
Yeah.
And so looking at those things where you're like, okay, I do love myself, I also really like
Like
myself too.
Yeah,
You know?
right. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
And that's I found out too that's something that has to be an ongoing decision
Yes.
to continue to like yourself, because I mean, forever, as long as we're on this green earth, we're going to make mistakes.
Yes.
We're gonna
And
change.
so,
Yeah.
right,
Yes.
exactly. And so we have to learn how to like ourselves even through our mistakes,
Yeah.
and not get stuck
Yeah.
in, oh, I made this mistake,
Mhm.
but knowing that was just a learning.
What was that you
Curve.
said earlier? Something about getting stuck? You got to say that one again.
Oh yeah.
And I need to hear it again.
Getting stuck. You
Yeah,
said you'll
something is.
if you
Oh,
yeah.
I don't
well,
know.
yeah. That
We'll
was
have
good.
to go back
that.
and
Yeah.
listen to the replay.
I gotta write that one down later.
Okay, Torisa, help us on this one.
Loving yourself doesn't mean being self-centered or selfish. It's about developing a caring relationship with yourself, like getting to know a good friend.
Kind of like what Kristin was saying.
Yes,
really,
yes,
kind of
yes.
getting to like yourself,
Yeah.
know yourself, and that was one thing that really helped me is when I started discovering things about myself. And I was like, ooh, I got that. I can do this. I'm not as bad as I thought I
Yeah, right? And I think it also goes back to your self-talk. They say,
Right,
that
right.
quote? There's a quote that talks about the person that you hear the most in your entire life is yourself. Because you're literally, I mean, you can't escape. You're there.
Yeah.
And so when you start shifting your self-talk and you start having that loving relationship with yourself
Yeah.
and tending to your the garden of your heart, and
Right.
like, oh,
Yeah.
I mean, there's just a nurturing that happens with
Right.
yourself, and you do like become a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that something? Isn't that powerful?
Yeah.
Wow.
Words have a lot of power in themselves.
Yes.
You know, and our world is shaped off of how we our perspective. So if we teach ourselves, even unknowingly, to see all of the negative things, we will never see the good stuff. So if we take the time to change our inner voice and change the things we say to ourselves, that's where you'll be able to see the good in the world and the positives of yourself and others, and your world will change.
That is so true, because that's how it happened for me.
Yeah.
And it was my self-talk, because my philosophy was life was a bee and then you die. That was my philosophy, because I had been through so much trauma in life that was what life was like for me. And so I would always say, well, hey, you want somebody to mess up something, give it to me, I'll mess it up. And I had to learn that that's not who I am, that was who I became.
Wow.
And so I had to change that, not by hearing everybody else's voice say positive things about me, but hear my own voice say positive things about me. And that's where you go back into, it's not being self-centered, it's not being selfish, just because we're feeding ourselves. If you don't feed yourself and you don't have the strength that you need to become who you are, how you gonna help somebody else become who they are, even if it's your kids?
Wow. I mean, but this goes into like even scientifically for our minds. They have there are things in your mind, in your brain called neural pathways. And you walk those neural pathways by the things that you think on consistently. Neural pathways are not created based on what other people say to you. They're created based on what you say to yourself and what you think. So if you're constantly creating this downtrodden road in your brain of I'm gonna mess it up, I mess it up, I'm worthless, I'm not
gonna happen.
That's right.
That is what you will become. But if the way you reverse that is create a new pathway.
That's right.
Create that self-talk, create those new what you're talking about, what you say to yourself.
Right.
Create that new pathway.
And this is scientifically as well, is that our brain is what they call plasticity.
Can't help you.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
You was looking at us. I was like, I don't know.
In other words, I think it's platis something anyway.
Okay.
What it means is that you can change the pathways of your thoughts.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
You know,
yes.
it's
Mhm.
not permanent.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
You can change your brain.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can add cells. And it used to be where they didn't believe you could do that. But you know, science is progressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
constantly
progressive knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, now they discovered all of these things, and you can change the pathways of your brain by talking to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, negative or
Positive.
positive.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow. That was good, ladies.
Yeah.
Wisdom being thrown around.
All right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is good. Okay, so we are going to leave you with a practical application to help you to start learning how to put all of these things into practice. And I learned this from Torisa, because I used to always say, you know, practice make perfect.
Oh.
But she told me practice make permanent.
Yes.
Ooh,
You will do
dwell
what
on
you
that
practice.
one. Right. And so let's look at what we have to apply. Don't give in to external pressure to be someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, strive to become the best version of yourself. And you know what? Young people,
Yes.
you know, we're imitating other people that we don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
We see them, we admire them, and there's nothing wrong with admiring people.
Yeah.
But there is something wrong when you try to emulate other people when you are unique, and you need to discover the uniqueness that you have.
Yes.
So that you can accept yourself, because when you try to be somebody else, now you need somebody else to validate you.
Right. Yeah. And I think there is something so explorative and actually really fun about becoming the best version of yourself, because you never know when you actually become that version. So when does it stop? When have you become it? There's a constant, as we grow and age and experience life and become seasoned, it's always exploring things about yourself and finding things. And I believe that I will never ever stop becoming the best version of myself. So I'm like, oh, I will always be getting to know myself.
Well, you know what? I ran upon a quote that said that if you stop learning, if you stop moving forward, you have become the best you.
Wow.
That wherever you are at that point, that's the best you'll ever get.
Well, then let's keep going, shall we?
Hey, I'm all for learning,
right?
becoming better and better. Yes.
I heard once somebody said, the only person I'm in competition with is the person I was yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
Wow, that's good.
I really liked that.
Yeah, that is
Torisa
a good
2.0. Tomorrow, Torisa 3.0.
Yep.
Teresa 4.0. We just gonna keep
keep
going.
Yeah, break the grading rate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Software update every day.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
You know, there's a saying that says when you don't use it, you lose it.
Yes.
And so, you know, when you stop learning, or when you think that you've learned enough, you stop using your brain.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's when you start digressing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's wisdom to not do that.
Right.
How about that? Simple wisdom for the day.
Right. There you go.
Use your brain.
Yeah.
My dad used to tell us that growing up. Use your brain.
Yeah, we have one for a reason.
That's right.
All right. So you have been spending time with Tuesday Tea Time with Dorarena,
Kristin,
and Torisa.
And as I always tell you, that Dorarena loves you, and remember to always
Walk in wisdom.
All right. You have a great night.